Hello, welcome to ID Talks with Anastasia Lavrina. On February 7th, Azerbaijan held extraordinary presidential elections where Ilham Aliyev secured a confident victory. These elections already been called historical for several reasons. And of course, the main one is that for the first time in modern history of Azerbaijan, the elections were held across the entire sovereign territory of Azerbaijan, including the liberated Karabakh. In this edition, we will discuss the geopolitical outcomes of this event for the entire region. Joining me now, Sevinj Fataliyeva, member of Azerbaijani parliament. Warm welcome to ID Talks. And my first question, these elections being called historic, do you agree with this opinion? And if yes, then why?
Well, these elections are really historic one because for the first time in modern history of Azerbaijan, presidential elections were held throughout the country, and polling stations opened in Shusha, in Hankendi, in Agdere, in Fizuli, Lachin, Zengilan, and Gubatli. And this is a source of immense pride and happiness for every Azerbaijani living in Azerbaijan and outside of Azerbaijan, because even a few years ago, we couldn't imagine that we could raise our flag in Hankendi, in Hojali. We couldn't imagine that the polling station will be located in in liberated lands in Karabakh. And the fact that the president and all his family was voting in Hankendi, I think that this is the good message, the right message for the world, that election hold in Hankendi, the voting of the president in Hankendi, in city which was the city of the separatism regime for many years, the city which was under the occupation of Armenian occupation for many years, the city where the former leaders were ruling and fighting Azerbaijani people. Now they are awaiting a fair trial for the crimes they committed against Azerbaijani people. And it's a good message for the world, which demonstrate that our country will never tolerate separatism, terrorism on its territory, that our country remembers and is dedicated to the history, but our country is moving forward, moving in the circumstances of peace and trying to build this peace within the country and outside the country. And this election, of course, is a new page of the history of Azerbaijan, a new page of peace, prosperity, and a new page for the people of Azerbaijan as well.
Could you please tell us about the significance of these elections for the future of Azerbaijan? What priorities does Azerbaijan set for itself as it enters a new era?
Well, in recent interview to the local media channels, the president Ilham Aliyev mentioned that the new era is starting, and if for a few decades we were dealing with the Karabakh issue, we were trying to resolve this conflict peacefully with participation of mediators, with the OEC Minsk group, but today, after we have liberated the land, today, after the glorious victory of Azerbaijan, the post-conflict period is getting over, and we are starting absolutely new agenda. We are starting work on absolutely new agenda. And in his interview, the president mentioned that we're working on the new national strategy, new national idea. And our nation showed unity during the 44-day war, and during the presidential election held on February 7th. This unity, I think this is the key factor in our future national strategy, how we will move forward, in which way we will move forward. Of course, the main agenda, the main item on the agenda is the revival of Karabakh. And almost for a few years, huge work is being done for reconstruction and creating new infrastructure, social infrastructure, and bringing back life to Karabakh by bringing back people who was expelled from Karabakh during the occupation. And in itself, it's a huge work because it demands the financial resources, it demands the political will, and participating of many actors in our country. And that's why the revival of Karabakh, the reconstruction of Karabakh, as well as the peace process with Armenia, I think that for today, these are the key factors, the key items of our nearest agenda. And the work, the negotiation with the Armenian, the normalization relationship with Armenia is a very long process where Azerbaijan has already submitted its terms of the peace agreement. But today it only depends on the Armenian position, whether Armenia will think about their future, the future of Armenian people, the future of the country, and the future of the region, as it does Azerbaijan. Because I think that we as a country and under the leadership of Ilham Aliyev, especially during the last few years, proved how how it is possible to defend the national interests of our country, how we need to fight separatism and terrorism, how we need to achieve historical victories that have already taken place, and of course we are sure that will happen again and again. And today, when liberated Karabakh is reviving, which is a great, also a great pride for every Azerbaijani. Today we're working on the normalization with relationship with Armenia, and in this position, I think that the position of Armenia is also very important. Whether they are dedicated to their obligations, they're dedicated to the future prosperity of their country, and of course, Azerbaijan is a country which is dynamically developing. And recently, for the last 10 years, we have observed a number of reforms within the economical system of Azerbaijan, within the economical sphere, within the social sphere, within the many spheres of life in Azerbaijan. And that's why the youth,ification, if we may say, attracting young people to the processes going on in our society and in our country, gender equality policy, which is also very important. I think that this proves that dynamic development of our country will continue in the future because we are building a modern Azerbaijan. We're building the country which reflects all the processes going on in the world. But at the same time, if we speak about the foreign policy, if we speak about the international relations, of course, the issue of justice and just approach to the processes going on in the world and within our country. This is one of the main issues in our foreign policy, as well as in domestic as well, because equal treatment of all the members of society, equal treatment of all our partners on the international level. This is one of the main perspective and main directions in our domestic and foreign policy.
Well, now I'm asking you not only as a member of Azerbaijani parliament, but also as an expert, as a political analyst. Should we expect any significant changes in the foreign policy of Azerbaijan? Because the elections took place in extremely complex geopolitical conditions associated with some countries' unwillingness to accept the new reality in the region of the South Caucasus. Why does Azerbaijan's success not please everyone?
Well, 2024 is the year which is rich with elections all over the world. And we, of course, understand that despite the fact that elections will take place during this year in many countries of the world, still, for some reasons, there is some unhealthy attention to the presidential election in our country. And of course, it's quite obvious that there would be some criticism, especially from the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, which was not invited to observe the presidential election in Azerbaijan. And maybe the position of some of the European states would show another example of political insanity, maybe of political hypocrisy, because if we speak about the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, their participation as observers, they're not participating in the elections, was based on the biased position of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe toward Azerbaijan after the 44-day war, and it was expressed in a number of resolutions, of anti-Azerbaijani resolutions, as well as organizing different discussions. And we understand that this kind of approach, whether it's on the level of the Council of Europe, whether it's some other political forces within the Europe, it's based on the, first of all, it's a huge campaign of lies that have been launched against our country. And we understand that this campaign is led by France. But even here we see that Azerbaijan is ready to reply to all these statements coming from France, all the statements coming from the Council of Europe as well. And we are in a position, and we are already in a state that to resist all this pressure. We are in a position to speak frankly and to be frank with our partners, with the organizations or the countries we are cooperating. And this happens in the Council of Europe as well, because Azerbaijani delegation decided to stop their activities within this organization, permanently stop their activities. And in terms of France, we are making our statement, we're defending our position, we're speaking about truth and reality, and we will never allow any political force, any politician, any state in the world to trying to manipulate the situation and trying to accuse Azerbaijan without any ground, without any fact, and to treat Azerbaijan in a biased way. And also, I would like to mention the fact that despite all this, Azerbaijan not only stopped and this preventing the provocation of official Paris, but also we initiated the coalition of countries that suffered from the French colonial policy. And today, with the support and initiative of Azerbaijan, the voice of these countries sounds very loudly. And of course, it's a personal merit of the president of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev. And when it comes to the foreign policy of Azerbaijan, I think that it's necessary to mention that it's not the position of Azerbaijan that is changing. The situation in the world is changing. And Azerbaijan, as usual, we never choose our partners, and we never choose the parts with whom we cooperate on some outer pressure, on some preferences of different political groups, or some preferences of the situation, or some obligations which the process is going on in the world forces us to do. So we choose the partners, we choose the cooperation only based on our national interest and the national interest and the future national interest of our country and our people. And that's why I don't think that there would be some changes in the foreign policy when of course, it depends on the position of the countries itself, of the organization itself. So there is example of, again, of the Council of Europe. And we proved and showed once again that we are ready and to continue our relationship with, whether it's the international organization or bilateral relations, only on the equal basis, equal basis when we have equal rights, when everyone is treated equally, and this cooperation is based on just and right approach.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining our project today. Thank you.
Thank you.